Are we all still here? Did I fuck up? I hope you're all still here. Oh. Okay. This Globe is the Elder.
Right now, for free.
Okay. I made this with Midjourney. I made that with Midjourney, and I ran that as the and Jenny, if this is Leonardo.ai. I know you work with AI art devices. This is one that I found. It's currently still free. It has a limited number of tokens you can use per day. And we're going over what it does, what it looked like. So that Globus the Elder as a prompt in the image prompt, because this is the difference. I don't know if you can add a existing image to Midjourney in order to remix that, but this is some of the stuff it came up with using that image and Cosmic Sci-Fi High Res. It gave me all of these down here. And then I started playing with the slider on it, and it ended up giving me with these elder folks. I love this guy. He's just so put out by being here. Okay. This is like you can actually you upload the picture into the thing while you're working with it. But then I actually got to these just by, and this is what's his name? Thor's dad. Hannibal Lecter. Vibing with my Globus the Elder that I created from the other thing. And that's pretty cool. Right? Like I just tightened up on what it would do. And I like these. I like the way that they all turned out. These all suck ass. The prompts are sci-fi high res, and it was for my hand logo. This joint. No, not that joint. This joint. My new primitives art, and for some reason it did not like them, and it gave me things. And so then I put Shoggy in there and got some weird outputs from Shoggy. Also, like its attempts at language. I thought were kind of fun. Like I like some of these in their own way. This is Shoggy with a Cthulhu prompt. This is Shoggy with a spaceship carrier fighters Chris Foss prompt. If you don't know Chris Foss, I've talked about him before. Before he has a particular art style that I really enjoy. Real 1970s kind of vibes. And then we go up here. So like yeah, there's the Globus the Elder. I could have done it that way. Yeah. So this is Spaceship Carrier Chris Foss via Midjourney, and then this is Spaceship Carrier Chris Foss via Leonardo. Okay. And then prior to that was Cyberpunk Batman Iron Man. And I went through a bunch of iterations getting to Cyberpunk Batman Iron Man. And I kind of got rid of the Iron Man unintentionally. But it's definitely some Cyberpunk Batman. And this is what this came up with. with only one iteration. Like, and you can go in here and like it says right here, you can upscale, and there's a bunch of features that you can play with, and it's pretty cool in that regard if you're into that kind of thing. I asked for biblically accurate angel, and it gave me these, which, if you know what a biblically accurate angel is, this ain't it. But it did the thing. And then this is what it gave me for biblically accurate angels over here. Right? I love this one. It's like, even this one knows it isn't it. If you're aware of Terry Pratchett, there is the land rests on the back of a giant turtle on top of 4 elephants. Or the land is on the elephants are on the turtle flies through space. This doesn't have the the elephants, obviously. But I use the same prompt over here, and I got these weird variations. It did better with this prompt. This was Lena did. Not the kaleidoscope. Where is it? This one. All right. Trigger warning if you're freaked out by like lots of eyes, lots of finger, kind of weird shit. This is too many eyes, hands made of hands, a literal goddess. Right? I think these are fucking wicked, right? But like, and part of this shows me like maybe something that a human wouldn't come up with. You know what I mean? Like, because of certain conventions of reality and the way that we function in society and everything else, you might not come up with this kind of piece of art here. Right? Just as a possibility. Allow it as a possibility. Right? But then when I plug them in over here, it's the same prompt. Too many eyes, hands made of hands, a literal goddess, and it didn't give me any of that. It really focused on the literal. Yeah. What up, Alina? This was dogs. Everything is dogs. Space is a dog. It's dogs all the way down. In Midjourney, that prompt gave us. Here's some biblically accurate angels. It gave space dogs, right? This did not so much give space dogs. So this is kind of neat. It also went a completely different direction with World Without Countries. It's a variation. Let me get back to the original. This is what Midjourney did with World Without Countries. This is what Leonardo did with World Without Countries. Right? I feel like this didn't do the assignment. Like it weighted those words in a different way. Same thing here. Cyberpunk, samurai, Celtic, Viking, hexagon. Right? This is, generally speaking, I guess all of those things. It's pretty cool. I like these joints that add the little bit of making it a necklace, right? Like there's nothing about what I said that did that. Midjourney actually kind of picked up on the vibe I was going for, which was this, right? Like the mix of Viking and samurai and Celtic, but cyberpunky. Like this is legit what I wanted. Where what Leonardo gave me is a completely different interpretation. Um, both technically accurate. There's nothing wrong with what it did. Um, Again, the fault is with the human, is not with the AI. Um, so this was the one I did where this is World War I gas mask cyberpunk, or cyberpunk World War I gas mask. This is what it came up with. Leonardo came up with. This is me going back with a second go of the cyberpunk, samurai hexagon thing, ending up with, like, again, a game style thing, and then this weird symbol over here. This is another go with and what I did here is, I like, initially there's no commas between the words. Here I put commas between the words. I got different results. This same thing. I put some commas in. I got a couple things that I liked. I like this. I think this is pretty cool. This is another go with the hexagon that ended up creating these necklaces again that I didn't ask for, but like it interpreted, I assume, the hexagon. And then eventually, like, we get into, I threw in Globus the Elder with the cyberpunk samurai shit, and I end up with 40k minis again. Um, this was the only one out of those that, like, hit the mark on what I was trying to achieve, and I think it's pretty cool. Then I decided, what about Globus the Elder Kawaii? And we got the Glovitis. And this is Gaelic. I'm straight telling you that this is some fucking Gaelic shit right down here. Uh, and then the Glowbubs. Glowbubs and its little balloons. Um, and Globus, the like the L. Um, and then we Globus the Elder anime style, right? Like that is technically correct. I haven't used Leonardo yet, but Midjourney has. I'm not saying that word. Mode that makes it easy to make kawaii stuff. I'm not mispronouncing that word, which is why I'm not saying it. Um, and then there's this one, which is, it's kind of got like like an androgynous feel to it. Um, Something like that. It's weird that it's sitting down, because when we advance up here and we get into like Globus the Elder manga, we get another one of these sitting down. There's something about it that Globus the Elder reflects sitting down, which I'm fine with. I enjoy sitting down. I like this one. Like, this is definitely a dude who gives you adventures in the story. Um, Anime, other Globusy. Um, I love this one. I'm a huge fan of this. Um, what is that? Begins with an N. Valley of the Wind. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I love its attempt at language. Right? Definitely got some anime Rick and Morty Rick vibes going on here. If you look in his eyes, there are literal flames in his eyes. My man is on some shit. And what does that say about me? Um, but then I decided, like, since I love to see other anime, what is it going to give me if I hit the Paradigm Shift anime? Or images, right? And then this is Endless Cemetery, Black Man anime. So again, we're talking about like issues with the data sets. Like there is minimal variation here. And again, it could be my inputs. I could use maybe different inputs in order to get different outcomes. But I'm showing you like the natural progression of fucking around with it and trying to come up with like I could use a bunch of this shit as like fun little logos or whatever, right? The Globitis could make a cute little. Why are they floating? Could make a little emote or something, right? Like there's a bunch of room for that, but there are many limitations on. Well, that was the thing, Jenny. I was using not these ones, but the previous ones. I was using the same inputs in both, like literal copy and paste, so I didn't make any variations, and I got different outcomes, like highly different outcomes. But other than that, it's neat. Leonardo.ai. You sign up, use your email address, and you get a certain amount of tokens each day that you can use. It's currently all free without like a limit other than the tokens that you get each day. I used 5 tokens per, and I think I got like 200 and something tokens. So I busted all these out. I still have a bunch of tokens left. If you want to, work with AI art. Oh, you couldn't see some of those because they were hidden behind the thing, but you got the picture. And it's really like, I mean, it's a problem with the data sets. We need more and better data sets in order to properly reflect what we're trying to reflect. We want our outcomes to be, we want good outcomes. You want good outcomes, you need good data sets. So we'll see where that takes us in the future.
The neat thing about
we're going to do a quick educational video about Transformers, because Transformers is what GPT is, what Chat GPT is a transformer. We should have a better understanding. And I'm going to learn right along with you. I'm going to have a better understanding after this video, hopefully.
The neat thing about working in machine learning is that every few years, somebody invents something crazy that makes you totally reconsider what's possible. like models that can play Go or generate hyper-realistic faces. And today, the mind-blowing discovery that's rocking everyone's world is a type of neural network called a transformer. Transformers are models that can translate text, write poems and op-eds, and even generate computer code. These have been used in biology to solve the protein folding problem. Transformers are like this magical machine learning hammer that seems to make every problem into a nail. If you've heard of the trendy new ML models BERT or GPT-3 or T5, all of these models are based on transformers. So if you want to stay hip in machine learning, and especially natural language processing, you have to know about the transformer. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about what transformers are, how they work, and why they've been so impactful. Let's get to it. So what is a transformer? It's a type of neural network architecture. To recap, neural networks are a very effective type of model for analyzing complicated data types like images, videos, audio, and text. But there are different types of neural networks optimized for different types of data. Like if you're analyzing images, you typically use a convolutional neural network, which is designed to vaguely mimic the way that the human brain processes vision. And since around 2012, neural networks have been really good at solving vision tasks, like identifying objects in photos. But for a long time, we didn't have anything comparably good for analyzing language, whether for translation or text summarization or text generation. And this is a problem because language is the primary way that humans communicate. You see, until transformers came around, the way we use deep learning to understand text was with a type of model called a recurrent neural network, or an RNN, that looks something like this. Let's say you wanted to translate a sentence from English to French. An RNN would take as input an English sentence and process the words one at a time and then sequentially spit out their French counterparts. The key word here is sequential. In language, the order of words matters and you can't just shuffle them around. For example, the sentence, Jane went looking for trouble, means something very different than the sentence, trouble went looking for Jane. So any model that's going to deal with language has to capture word order, and recurrent neural networks do this by looking at one word at a time sequentially. But RNNs had a lot of problems. First, they never really did well at handling large sequences of text, like long paragraphs or essays. By the time they were analyzing the end of a paragraph, they'd forget what happened in the beginning. And even worse, RNNs were pretty hard to train. Because they processed words sequentially, they couldn't parallelize well, which means that you couldn't just speed them up by throwing lots of GPUs at them. And when you have a model that's slow to train, you can't train it on all that much data. This is where the transformer changed everything. They're a model developed in 2017 by researchers at Google and the University of Toronto, and they were initially designed to do translation. But unlike recurrent neural networks, you could really efficiently parallelize transformers, and that meant that with the right hardware, you could train some really big models. How big? Really big. Remember GPT-3, that model that writes poetry and code and has conversations? That was trained on almost 45 terabytes of text data, including like almost the entire public web. So if you remember anything about transformers, let it be this. Combine a model that scales really well with a huge data set and the results will probably blow your mind. So how do these things actually work? From the diagram in the paper, it should be pretty clear. Or maybe not. Actually, it's simpler than you might think. There are three main innovations that make this model work so well: positional encodings and attention, and specifically a type of attention called self-attention. Let's start by talking about the first one, positional encodings. Let's say we're trying to translate text from English to French. Positional encodings is the idea that instead of looking at words sequentially, you take each word in your sentence and before you feed it into the neural network, you slap a number on it. 1, 2, 3, depending on what number the word is in the sentence. In other words, you store information about word order in the data itself rather than in the structure of the network. Then as you train the network on lots of text data, it learns how to interpret those positional encodings. In this way, the neural network learns the importance of word order from the data. This is a high-level way to understand positional encodings, but it's an innovation that really helped make transformers easier to train than RNNs. The next innovation in this paper is a concept called attention, which you'll see used everywhere in machine learning these days. In fact, the title of the original transformer paper is "Attention is All You Need." So, the agreement on the European Economic Area was signed in August 1992. Did you know that? That's the example sentence given in the original paper, and remember, the original transformer was designed for translation. Now imagine trying to translate that sentence to French. One bad way to translate text is to try to translate each word one for one. But in French, some words are flipped, like in the French translation, European comes before economic. Plus, French is a language that has gendered agreement between words, so the word européenne needs to be in the feminine form to match with la zone. The attention mechanism is a neural network structure that allows a text model to look at every single word in the original sentence when making a decision about how to translate a word in the output sentence. In fact, here's a nice visualization from that paper that shows what words in the input sentence the model is attending to when it makes predictions about a word for the output sentence. So when the model outputs the word European, it's looking at the input words European and economic. You can think of this diagram as a sort of heat map for attention. And how does the model know which words it should be attending to?
Heat map for attention.
It's something that's learned over time from data. By seeing thousands of examples of French and English sentence pairs, the model learns about gender and word order and plurality and all of that grammatical stuff. So we talked about two key transformer innovations, positional encoding and attention. But actually, attention had been invented before this paper. The real innovation in transformers was something called self-attention, a twist on traditional attention. The type of attention we just talked about had to do with aligning words in English and French, which is really important for translation. But what if you're just trying to understand the underlying meaning in language so that you can build a network that can do any number of language tasks? What's incredible about neural networks like transformers is that as they analyze tons of text data, they begin to build up this internal representation or understanding of language automatically. They might learn, for example, that the words programmer and software engineer and software developer are all synonymous. And they might also naturally learn the rules of grammar and gender and tense and so on. The better this internal representation of language the neural network learns, the better it will be at any language task. And it turns out that attention can be a very effective way to get a neural network to understand language if it's turned on the input text itself. Let me give you an example. Take these two sentences. Server, can I have the check? Versus, looks like I just crashed the server. The word server here means two very different things, and I know that because I'm looking at the context of the surrounding words. Self-attention allows a neural network to understand a word in the context of the words around it. So when a model processes the word server in the first sentence, it might be attending to the word check, which helps it disambiguate from a human server versus a metal one. In the second sentence, the model might be attending to the word crashed to determine that this server is a machine. Self-attention can also help neural networks disambiguate words, recognize parts of speech, and even identify word tense. This, in a nutshell, is the value of self-attention. So to summarize, transformers boil down to positional encodings, attention, and self-attention. Of course, this is a 10,000-foot look at transformers, but how are they actually useful? One of the most popular transformer-based models is called BERT, which was invented just around the time that I joined Google in 2018. BERT was trained on a massive text corpus and has become this sort of general pocket knife for NLP that can be adopted to a bunch of different tasks, like text summarization, question answering, classification, and finding similar sentences. It's used in Google Search to help understand search queries, and it powers a lot of Google Cloud's NLP tools, like Google Cloud AutoML Natural Language. BERT also proved that you could build very good models on unlabeled data, like text scraped from Wikipedia or Reddit. This is called semi-supervised learning, and it's a big trend in machine learning right now. So if I've sold you on how cool transformers are, you might want to start using them in your app. No problem. TensorFlow Hub is a great place to grab pre-trained transformer models like BERT. You can download them for free in multiple languages and drop them straight into your app. You can also check out the popular Transformers
literally free machine learning and AI type things that you can drop right into the app that you're creating. AI is not going anywhere.
Python library built by the company Hugging Face. That's one of the community's favorite ways to train and use transformer models. For more transformer tips, check out my blog post linked below, and thanks for watching. So, today we're building this sort of DIY pet cam for...
So that was pretty wild. Yeah, we are, the AI is here, the AI is happening. And every time I learn something new, I see exactly how prevalent it is, and it's only like these iceberg, it's an iceberg. Like there is what we are interacting with, like ChatGPT and Midjourney, and then as people who know more stuff, there are more aspects to it in existence. And I hope that helped you understand the way that the transformer is analyzing language, and it's going to continue. Like, and again, for all the people who, if you work in a language based thing like customer service or translating or any of that stuff, you are on a clock, right? You are on a clock. For better or worse, you are on a clock. We are all on a clock. But that was positive, and I don't want to get into, any negativity before we depart. Because, yeah, I am just about out. So I could do 3 hours fairly easily. So, won't be back tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday talking with Arun again. We're going to talk more about India politics, South Asian politics, South Asian things. We're going to learn stuff. That'll be cool. Friday, we're going to do our normal show, and then we are going to be having a conversation with Greycraft, Universal Discourse, Paradigm, and Talorx about AI and AI related things. So at least temporarily, we'll see how it goes. I might go back to doing every day. I might not. But for the time being, I think I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and like that. And I hope that meets to your satisfaction. My pleasure. Sticking with the technology vibe, we're gonna go see the homie Computer. He's actually currently building something. It could be related. He's got a couple technology products or projects he's working on, and like that. Computer's a homie. Computer and I are like that. So in the meantime, drink your water, eat some food, take your meds if you forgot. Shoggy loves you. So do I. I will see you on Wednesday.